Let's get some reaction. President of the Ukrainian Association of South Africa, Dzvinka Kachur, joins us for more. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. As Ukraine marks 1,000 days of full-scale war with Russia, thousands of Ukrainian citizens, for one, have died, and the population has fallen by at least a quarter since Vladimir Putin ordered the invasion. How have you reflected on an invasion that essentially began Europe's biggest conflict since the Second World War?
Thank you, Paul, for having me on this really important days, because 1,000 days ago, no one could believe that Ukraine will withstand longer than 3 days. So I think today Ukrainians still feel proud that we managed to resist this unjust, unprovoked military invasion for that long. We understand that the price that Ukrainians have paid is enormous. And there is no other way how Ukrainians can defend, because it's so-called second largest army that is attacking it. So only there is a way of international solidarity or the support of Ukrainian people that can stop it.
As we reflect...
It's also a difficult time because...
Yeah, no, continue.
Russia continues to bomb civilians, and just today a civilian building was hit in Lviv, killing at least one child, 6 people, and the search is continuing. But generally there are 9,600 people that were civilians that have been killed, and more than 500 children. So this is a very sad time, also commemoration of all those people who lost their lives.
So as we do reflect on that, Ukraine is reported to have fired US-supplied longer-range missiles at Russian territory for the first time. I mean, looking at the timing, it's a day after Washington gave it permission for such attacks. Some had, some concerns around this, what the impact would be. Will it escalate the war? Or others are just concerned about the dwindling stockpiles of the weapons. What do you make of it?
I don't think Russia can escalate more. I think everything Russia could do, it's doing since 24th of February 2022. Putin is clear, it does not plan to stop invading Ukraine. It still wants to take over whole Ukraine, and his statement on the 7th of November was very clear. He does not want to compromise, he does not want some territories, he wants to take over Ukraine and destroy the Ukrainian identity. So in that sense, if we think Ukraine has also been improving its military industry, and some of the targets have been already hit, long-distance targets by Ukrainian military equipment. In particular, the Russian flagman ship Moscow was hit by Ukrainian missile, not by ATACMS or any other. But of course, if Ukraine can hit the production of missiles, it would save thousands of lives, because trying to catch missiles that are falling by dozens every single day. Since September, every single day, Ukraine is bombed. Not a single night was without siren for attacks. If we can hit one place where those missiles contain, it would be much better effect.
In fact, I remember reading somewhere where you were saying, as you looked at the year 2024, I mean, as we're reflecting on 1,000 days, speaking about how Russian propaganda is essentially holding society very tightly. Perhaps expand on that and what you've seen that results in that.
Yes, propaganda continues. It's a daily systemic machine that promotes narratives that all Russian people have to die for their country, and the role of women in Russia is to produce new soldiers that would be ready to die for Russia. So it's a very difficult narrative, because the country is not producing someone to flourish. Children who will live a happy life will do something for the world. Children are expected to be part of this military machine, and we understand that this is systemic. The violation of human rights by Russian state is systemic, and this is what Russia is implementing in Ukraine as well. So there are more than 140,000 documented war crimes already committed. If we look at the prisoners of war, 95% of them are tortured. Ukrainian soldiers, disarmed soldiers, are regularly executed. There is ICJ court decision suggesting that Russia is discriminating against Ukrainian language at the occupied territories since 2014. There is ICC warrant of arrest against Putin for forcefully deporting Ukrainian children, changing their citizenship without consent, and frustrating them to adoption into Russian families. There are 20,000 of those documented cases of Ukrainian children being sent forcefully deported to Russia. But Russia claims they have 700,000 of Ukrainian children. So this is a state that systemically violates human rights.
Yeah, yeah. And what about the impact on social trauma, the social trauma of the war? What has been witnessed on a day-to-day basis? How has it affected people?
It's a massive effect. So many people have lost their relatives. Everyone has witnessed destructions of neighboring houses, of dying neighbors, of people losing children. All children have to go to the bomb shelter since September every single night. You can imagine and the Ukrainian Association of South Africa is supporting psychological rehabilitation of children in Ukraine through Voices of Children organization. So we are calling everyone who would like to support children affected by war to check also our activities and support children who are suffering daily for 1,000 days.
Very well. And perhaps very lastly, as South Africa prepares to take over the presidency of the G20 summit next year, what are their expectations? I mean, I've seen calls that, for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to come and be invited to South Africa, saying that that will be impactful.
Absolutely. The more direct contacts would be impactful. We also hope that President Ramaphosa was in Russia in 2023 during the Africa Peace Mission, and he mentioned that Ukrainian children have to return to their homes, because you understand that changing citizenship of children without consent is direct crime against Convention of Genocide.
Yeah.
So this is something that should not be happening, and Ramaphosa asked for those children to be returned. Putin simply said no. So we really hope that when South Africa takes over leadership of G20, we will see some of Ukrainian children going back home. We really hope that every single one will be returned, because this is something that, stealing children is a big crime, and it's a massive trauma for our society, for those families whose children remaining in Russia.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us and reflecting on this. President of the Ukrainian Association of South Africa, Dzvinka Kachur.